Okay, so this is Cao Cao, a Chinese general living at the end of the 2nd century during the Han Dynasty of China. He's got a lot of legend to his name, and he's also part of one of the more interesting military stories. So let's go ahead and chat about him for a little bit. Cao Cao grows up. He's just kind of in court. China at the time is just on the cusp of being fractured into a handful of different dynasties. He is going to become a general, winning over the Yellow Turban rebellion, which is going to really weaken the Han Dynasty. In fact, Cao Cao makes it his priority to reunify China. It's not really going to work. Nonetheless, he still is going to be an emperor from one of the factions. He himself is viewed in a lot of different ways. One of them is very good. He introduces agriculture, so he knows that his army needs to eat. So if people weren't fighting, he says you need to farm. He forbids people to buy really expensive jewelry, knowing that he's got to manage money and all of this stuff. He's really big into education. He knows that that's important, so he has education reforms. He does invent somewhat of like a class system, at least within his own court. Now, today, if you search his name, he's seen as more of a villain. He's a very cunning general. So you can say he's shrewd. He is part of one of the more interesting stories, the empty fort strategies. He is a name that will pop up. It's one of the cooler stories. Basically, his army is just out foraging, doing army things. He is at a fort by himself and just like a handful of soldiers. An invading force comes up to his fort. He opens up the walls. He's just there playing an instrument on the inside. General looks at him and goes, oh my gosh, our army cannot come in, because he probably has some sort of ambush, knowing that Cao Cao is a very skilled general. This guy will leave. Cao Cao has completely bamboozled him because there's nobody in the fort. Look into the empty fort strategy. Again, what is real and what is legend is a little bit dicey. Anyways, Cao Cao is going to have numerous children. It's upwards of like 20 kids or something like that. In fact, they just found his tomb not too long ago, though much like some of the Egyptian pyramids, it has been mostly looted. The only real evidence that it's attributed to him is some of the inscriptions that talk about, Emperor Hem, Cao Cao, that is. He is an esteemed poet, so he is very prevalent in writing. He does get kind of a unique history. The book, The Three Kingdoms, is where you see him more vilified. I think people these days are trying to clear up his name. He is kind of one of those cool historic figures that I don't think a lot of people know about. So look into him. Look into the empty fort strategy. Again, whether it's real or fake, it's kind of up to you, but I like believing in that kind of stuff. So anyways, hopefully you learned a little bit. Love you all.